Welcome back! Today we're going to discuss the highly manipulated Scarlet and Violet market. We're going to talk about the buyouts that are happening seemingly on every card in the era. We're going to talk about the irrational behavior of the consumer right now that's actually buying these things at their current prices. Did I do it right? Am I part of the cool kids? I mean, is that what we got to do now? Anytime anything happens that we don't understand, we just got to label it as manipulation, buyouts, irrational behavior? Obviously, all that's bullshit. I'm just going to come out and say it. You can hate on me in the comment section, but it is. This is what people do to try to explain moves that happen that they don't fully understand or that they don't agree with, right? If they have items that they think should be valuable, right? Their first knee-jerk reaction when other things rise in value and are wanted by the masses and reach price points that they don't deem worthy, that's all they know how to do is say, well, that's irrational. That must be a buyout. That's got to be manipulation. There's no way someone would buy X instead of Y, right? And this is just the conversation that constantly happens in this hobby, and you'll constantly see YouTube videos about it until the end of time when people don't fully understand why things are happening. So what we're going to do today is we're going to explain why things are happening. I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant. So before we dive too deep into that, I'm going to shout out Arizona TCG first, guys. They are today's video sponsor. They're a consignment service for your PSA, BGS, or CGC slabs. Basically, they run them through their 100% positive feedback 10K items sold 2,000 follower eBay store. And so you know they're going to get top dollar and get seen by all the eyes on eBay. They also have this awesome little tool here to where you can actually put in a guesstimate of what you think your card's going to sell for, and it'll show you what you're going to get selling it yourself on eBay and what you're going to get selling it with Arizona TCG. They only charge 13.5% fees, so it's very low compared to the industry. So make sure to check them out. I'll leave the link in the comment section and the description below. So, what's happening right now with Scarlet Violet era, right? You're seeing pretty much every booster box start to rise in that 105, 110 and up range now, especially with Paldea around 130. And you're starting to see a lot of cards start to see massive rises, right? And the first thing people like to do is say, this is manipulation, right? Anytime anything moves fast in value, it's manipulation or it's a buyout. And then the other thing people like to do is say, well, this is irrational. People aren't taking into account that reprints will come. People don't understand how many of these cards are out there. If they did, they wouldn't be paying X amount of dollars for them. They should be buying X, Y, or Z because of whatever reason they come up with. Population reports, because of rarity, because of oldness, scarcity, whatever it may be, right? And here's what's happening right now. Scarlet and Violet era is finally being accepted by the masses, right? For a while there, Scarlet and Violet was not accepted, right? It was really closed out of people's minds. People were so attached to Sword and Shield and how great it was, and the alt arts and trainer galleries and the evolving skies and all that, and especially ending with Crown Zenith. People were so used to that later Sword and Shield era that they completely blocked out. They completely dismissed Scarlet and Violet, and that's why it struggled so hard in the beginning. That's why, you know, SV Base, Paldea, Obsidian, all the very first few sets didn't do well. You saw like $80 booster boxes. They were everywhere. No one wanted them. What you're seeing now is people are finally kind of getting their fill of Sword and Shield, right? They finally got their fill of Sword and Shield. They collected the cards they want to collect. They have the positions in the boxes they want, and they're finally ready to be moving into Scarlet and Violet. And so you're seeing that move of money move into that side of the market. And that's why you're seeing such intense price growth on not just the boxes and the cases, but also some of the single cards. Now look, I'm not here to tell you that there's never been a buyout in history, right? I'm not here to tell you that there's not one single buyout that happened. Of course, there's people that make strategic moves when they see a card that they see potential and that can move up, right? Of course that happens. But what I see happening is every time any card moves now, people just label it buyout, 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 buyout. And it's so overly used that, guys, all of these cards are not being bought out, right? All of these PSA 10 copies that you see very little of in Scarlet and Violet on the market, they're not all bought out, right? People are buying, you know, hundreds of these things, all holding them. What's happening is people are realizing, hey, you know what? Scarlet and Violet era is a lot harder to grade than Sword and Shield. Maybe these PSA 10s should have a little more value than we're giving them. Maybe these PSA 10s are a little harder to get. They're a little more scarce than a lot of people led us on to believe in the early times of Scarlet and Violet, when everything was selling for $30, $40, $50, $60 PSA 10 SIRs. People are really realizing that with the IRs, because they're extremely hard to grade. Some of these have like 20% 10 rates, guys. And so what's happening is people are speculating that that's going to, continue to be a trend, even if reprints come, that maybe the quality remains similar. And so they're placing their bets that these cards are going to be scarce enough and still sought after enough in the future that it's going to raise the prices, like we've seen with the Magic cards, like we've seen with some of the other cards. And so a lot of the collectors and the investors and the speculators are holding on to these cards, creating mass scarcity on the market. And whenever there's mass scarcity on the market, prices go up. That's how it works. It's not manipulation, it's not a buyout, it's not irrationality. It's the fact that, hey, you go to the market and you say, there's 3 of these freaking cards on the market. One of them's, overseas, right? A foreign market. One of them's listed at like, $1,000, and the other one's listed somewhat normal price. It's more than the last one sold at Buy It Now. It's more than the last auction went for, but it's my best bet. If I want to get in on this card, I'll buy it. And then it sets a new price ceiling, right? And then people continue to work that up until, there's some number hit where people no longer pay for, or others come out of the closet and they want to start selling for a little bit lower and pushing the price back down. And it's just the normal flow of markets. And so when you see sales happen, and it happens for 200, then 220, 250, 270, 300, it's not being manipulated. It's the fact that the card is so scarce and the collectors want it. Maybe they've already tried to grade it themselves and they can't. You can't find mint copies out there, and you're saying, well, if I want the PSA 10, I better get it now. There's no telling how high this is going to be. And now, if you look at the population reports of a lot of these cards, they actually have pretty high population reports. I mean, a lot of them are already in the thousands, right? A lot of them have 1,000 PSA 10s. Not as much on the IRs, but a lot of the SIRs do. But again, they're nowhere to be found. Where are they? Where are they, right? Like we're always told with sealed product, it's everywhere. There's warehouses full. There's millions of this stuff, but there's never really that much on the market, right? And then prices go up and there still isn't more on the market. And you're thinking to yourself, is there really as much of this stuff as we think? And then you look at the PSA population reports and you say, well, there's 1,000 of these things. Why is there only 5 on the market? And then you start thinking to yourself, well, wait a second. Pokemon's a worldwide hobby now. Think of all the money just in the U.S. Think of all the billionaires and millionaires in the U.S. Now think of that many people in every single country in the world. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 population of a card really that much? I mean, especially if it's only $1, $2, $3, $4, $500. Pretty much, I mean, you can have people that can afford that and not worry about it, and not care if it goes up to double or drops in half, and want to actually collect the cards very easily. And so I think that's what's happening, is just there's not enough to go around, right? There's just not enough to go around, which forces the prices up. And contrary to what a lot of people think, a lot of people actually like these cards. They actually like Scarlet Violet Era. I mean, I'm one of those people. Look at this. These are beautiful cards. I mean, you can't tell me you don't like that Iron Crown, the Miriam, great waifu card. I mean, these cards are actually good looking. They're actually beautiful. And people are coming around to realizing that, and they're starting to say, hey, no shade thrown on the alt arts. Amazing. They're always going to be amazing, but I'm kind of getting tired of it. I got what I want, or I've made my plays, or, it's time to move on, and that's what's happening. Same thing's going on with the boxes, right? We haven't had any reprints except for SV Base got a little one right when it was released. Other than that, we haven't had any reprints, right? Distributors, it's not that they're out of them. I hear a lot of people saying distributors are out of Scarlet Violet. They're not out of them, right? We talked about it on Eli's stream on Pokemon USA yesterday. They're not out of the product, right? They still have it. What they're doing is they just raise the price. As they start getting lower, they start raising the price. So like Paldea Evolved, you can't find for less than $700 a case at distribution, right? A lot of the other sets have risen up to $95, $100 per box. So they're no longer in the low 90s or the 80s like they are at release. And so, distributors, they're not getting any more products. So they're saying, well, we might as well start rising the price because we don't want to completely run out. We want to at least have some inventory for these stores. And so they're just rising the price. And because of that, it is rising the price of the market, TCG Player or eBay. And we're starting to see those $105, $110 boxes across the board, right? Paradox Rift It was famously $75 a box back on Black Friday. Now it's pushing $110 a box, right? Temporal Forces 110, Twilight Masquerade 110. We're starting to see all these boxes rise in value, and it's not because there's manipulation, it's not buyouts, it's not irrationality, it's nothing like that. It's just simple fact that these get opened every single day. Trust me, I'm one of the people that do it. I have 2 box breaks a week. We open tons of all these sets, and there's tons of people like me doing it across the entire industry on YouTube, whatnot, TikTok, doesn't matter. They're opening the stuff. Not to mention all the regular collectors and card stores and everything across the nation who are just opening it too. And so when you take the supply down every single day by large amounts and you don't get more, there's nothing else it can do but go up. It's just the way it is. Less supply, more demand, prices rise, is what it is. And so that's what's happening across this market, guys. So I understand, and I'm going to do the same thing, by the way. Anyone watching this, you're going to see the title, you're going to say, oh, okay, I get it, Alex. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to clickbait it. I'll throw some buyouts, manipulation, irrationality stuff on the thumbnail to get people to click, right? Because that's what people like, and that's why people do it. But, you know, that's why you see all these buyout manipulation, irrationality stuff is because it's people explaining moves in the market that they don't understand or they don't agree with. That's all it is. And it's nothing against those people. It's just they don't look outside the box. They don't try to see things through a different lens or through other people's eyes. They just see it through their own eyes. And when you keep yourself in a box and you don't look outside and understand why moves would happen, even though you don't agree with them, it gives you a limited view of the market. And you're going to miss plays, you're going to miss opportunities because you're so stuck in your ways and stuck in your mindset. And so that's what I would urge everyone to do is even if you don't agree with Scarlet Violet Era, maybe you don't like it, maybe you don't like the cards, you think the pool rates are too easy, whatever it may be, maybe at least try to see it from another lens instead of writing it off immediately as buyouts, as manipulation, as irrational, all that good stuff. So that's all I got, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be back here in a new one soon. If you're not subscribed to the channel and you like this kind of content, consider subscribing. It costs you nothing, it helps the channel out. Appreciate it.